Sometimes playing with the lead presents its own set of challenges. Thomas Detry, a multi-shot lead throughout round 3, and it'll be 5 heading to Sunday thanks to this. A gutsy par save at the last for Detry, who fires a Saturday 65. Could be en route to his first career victory, a 5-shot lead over Rasmus Højgaard, Daniel Berger, Jordan Spieth, and Michael Kim. And for more on Green Day, the man with the green jacket, Trevor Immelman, joining us from the Super Tower. Trevor, it is always our pleasure here, and what a day. I mean, few spectacles like Saturday at the WM. I'm interested in your point of view on it all, but let's go to Detry here first. The putt at the last. What did you observe in the way that he carried that multi-shot lead here on Saturday?
Well, first of all, I was impressed, even though he's got the big lead, that he didn't panic after the bad tee shot. Had an awkward lie, was trying to play out to the left. It didn't quite get the contact that he was looking for. But then at that point, he had a choice to make. Look, a lot of guys would have tried to fit that pitch shot in there into the little finger where the hole was located on the right. But he stayed patient. He played out 20 feet to the left and trusted his putter. And it came good for him again, just like it has been all week.
It certainly was impressive to watch him get this thing to the house and maintain a now 5-shot lead, but we've seen it time and again before. 5 shots can disappear in a hurry, and there's certain guys that do certain things to fields. The name Spieth hasn't been that high up on a leaderboard in quite some time. Do you think that name affects the air at all on Sunday?
Oh, look, there's no doubt about it, especially if you're Thomas Detry and you haven't won on the PGA Tour before. It's actually been a whole host of years before he's won a professional tournament, last time back in 2016 on the Challenge Tour in Europe. So he's for sure going to be feeling the nerves. The massive crowds here are going to let him know all about that as well. But with that lead, he doesn't need to put his foot on the gas too heavily to start. You know, he can play the first 5 holes nice and conservative and start to see how things shape up, whereas the other guys, they have no choice. They're going to have to get going right from the start, you know, jump on the first couple holes. The third is a reachable par 5, maybe try sneak an eagle there, and at least try and put some pressure on him, because today, you know, he didn't quite feel too much. Started the day with a couple shot lead, and he's been able to stretch that out. So it's his to lose. He's fully in control right now. Quite
unflappable. I am reminded of Nick Taylor playing the final 4 in 3 under a year ago to force that playoff and ultimately win, Trevor. There's so much risk-reward opportunity coming home down that stretch, the stadium hole. When you think of what we may see on Sunday coming home, how does that last 4 or 5 holes really outline what you do expect to see?
Well, always super exciting. You referenced Nick Taylor last year. This week, today, we saw Daniel Berger play the last 5 and 4 under par. And so he catapulted himself in with an opportunity tomorrow. But there's a lot of opportunities for 2-shot swings on this back 9. You think of 11 and 12, the 2 toughest holes. You got to get through there with some water. And then 15, we saw a double there. We saw an eagle there. So lots can happen. Detry's just going to be trying to lean on that great approach play. He really has been striking the irons well, and he hasn't gotten himself into too much trouble all week. He's just missed 6 greens in regulation the whole week. So consistency is going to be the key for him. Try and manage your emotions. Look, it's going to be tough. You're not going to be able to do that all day. At some point, you're going to start thinking ahead too far. But just in the moment, pull yourself back and keep doing what you've been doing. I mean, this guy has been, you know, a superstar is a tough word. He's had potential to be a star for a long time. He was a great junior player. He was a great amateur player at Illinois, and he's come through the ranks through the DP World Tour and now the PGA Tour. So he has the potential to go ahead and win tomorrow and then keep winning in the future. But man, he's got to get over that first hurdle, and from then, hopefully the floodgates open for him.
In the past, this was the first hurdle for the likes of Scottie Scheffler and Brooks Koepka. They came back, they did it again, and have done plenty since then as well. We'll see if Thomas Detry can get it done on Sunday. Trevor Immelman, looking forward to the call.
Thank you.
And you know where to find it. Final round action, 3 Eastern time on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. Plus, our award-winning team bringing you the thrilling conclusion from the desert. Thomas Detry, your 54-hole leader, saw certainly plenty of this throughout his day into the 500-plus yard par 4 14th. One of a handful of spectacular approaches, one of 7 birdies on the day for Detry. Amanda Balionis with your 54-hole leader.
how would you describe your play today?
That's probably a good description. I mean, I got off to an amazing start. I couldn't have asked for a better start, to be honest. I felt a little bit nervous out there, and obviously hit a great 9-iron on the first to like 2-3 feet. That was a nice way to kind of get going. Yeah. And then after that, I played some really good golf. I think I was, what, four under through 5. Definitely a nice way to get the round started.
Colton Oast and I were talking about this. How much confidence do you gain from playing the front 9 as well as you did, knowing that's the harder part of the golf course, and then maintain that lead throughout the day? Yeah,
I mean, it was huge. As you just said, like, I think that's getting off to such a good start was big, and you know that on the back 9 you've got a couple of chances as well. So it was just nice making the turn. I 3-putted 7. Bounced back really nicely with a birdie on 8 after my errant drive on the right. So it was just a cool day, and very happy the way I just kind of handled the whole day.
You're in such an interesting position. You lead by 6 with 18 to play. Many people might say he has it in the bag, but we all know winning on the PGA Tour is hard, especially trying to do it for the first time. Yeah. What's your mindset as you know what is right ahead of you?
Yeah, I mean, I've never won on a PGA Tour, so I don't really know what to do. I mean, I'm playing some great golf. I think I'm just gonna keep doing what I do. I've kind of struggled, battled a little bit mentally in the past as well, and I feel like I've learned from my mistakes. So I kind of feel like I'm ready to handle on Sunday properly now, and I really hope that tomorrow's the day.
I love it. It's been so fun to watch so far. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
And for more, we say hello to CBS Sports golf analyst Rick Gehman. Rick, interesting thoughts there, maybe a little bit more forthcoming than we hear from guys when we're used to trying to put away a 54-hole lead, talking about the emotion, a little bit of the nerves that he felt on this day. They're certainly going to be there tomorrow. And if you look at past champions here, it's usually guys who have wins in the bag. If not that, it's Brooks Koepka and Scotty Scheffler. What's going to be required of Detry on Sunday?
Yeah, I like that he said, I feel like I'm ready to properly handle Sundays now. That was interesting because his Sundays at this point in his career have been full of Sunday scaries. So it'll be interesting to see how he does handle the second 9 on Sunday with what is likely to be a multiple shot lead barring some disaster. And what he needs to do is a lot of what he did in the 3rd round, Joe. I thought there were 3 moments where this golf tournament could have gotten away from him. The 6th hole, the 11th hole, and then the 18th hole. On 6, he spun one back off the front of the green into a little bit of a difficult spot, was able to get up and down, no problem from there. 11, he blasts one way right into nearly a cactus, extracts himself from the desert, goes on to make par, no problem there. And then he takes his medicine on 18, having to lay up on his 2nd, and he does not even try to take on the pin flag for his 3rd, and he rolls in another long putt. That says to me he is very aware of his status on the leaderboard. He knows he has a multiple shot lead, and he is comfortable playing to his strengths and removing the big number. If he does that throughout the entirety of Sunday, it's probably going to be a very good Sunday for him.
It certainly feels that way because I know they're all worth 1, but 5 and 4 worlds apart when talking about sleeping on that lead with names like Spieth behind you. Jordan Alexander Spieth back in the conversation, and we are all better for it. But this isn't the same Jordan Spieth, or at least hasn't presented himself as such this week. Just 1 bogey through 54 holes. Usually it's the up, the down. This is the matriculator Jordan Spieth. What stood out about his play to you thus far?
This is not a Jordan Spieth I recognize, and that might be good for everybody. Like you mentioned, just the 1 bogey, that alone tells a really big story about what Jordan Spieth has been up to this week. If you look at the advanced statistics, he is 2nd in this field in strokes gained approach. He has only missed 10 greens in regulation. That's good for 3rd in the field. So he's giving himself a lot of opportunities. He's hitting that putting surface more frequently than basically anybody else in the field, and then he's just making a lot of putts to go along the way. And I think to go back to your original point, Joe, when you're hitting fairways and you're hitting greens, it's obviously a lot more difficult to make bogey. And that's the one thing, an errant drive, an errant approach shot, that has led to some really crooked and ugly numbers for Jordan Spieth in the last couple of years. So again, if you find fairways and you find greens, it's going to be a really good combination for everybody, but especially for Jordan Spieth.
And he's just one of those names that injects excitement into everything that he does. Lucky to have him in the penultimate grouping on Sunday at the WM. A little further down the leaderboard, yet and still a top 10 positioning right now. Scotty Scheffler didn't have his normal Scotty day as well, if we're going off of expectation here. Did birdie 4 of his last 6 to get it into that top 10 positioning, but it seems like something's just not clicking right now. The engine just not turning over just yet. What do you point to?
It was a little bit bizarre from a statistical standpoint, Joe. He was just a little bit loose. And again, these are incredibly high standards that we lay on Scottie Scheffler, doing things that we haven't seen since Tiger Woods. But he was hitting a lot of greens early in his round, but he was still losing strokes to the field. That means he's just barely hitting the green. He's not hitting it close enough to give himself a realistic birdie opportunity. And then, having to take a drop. I mean, we don't see Scottie Scheffler put red marks, red X's on the card indicating a penalty. You see the frustration there, and he lacks the distance control that we have gotten so used to. To your point, those 4 birdies over the last 6, that salvages the round. It keeps him moving up the leaderboard and in position for a really good payday and a lot of FedEx Cup points and all that fun stuff. But it was not the version of Scottie Scheffler that we have gotten used to, especially around TPC Scottsdale.
But in true Scottie form, even when he slams the bag, that thing's back up before it even comes to rest. I know. Just a habitual great guy. We'll see if he can make a run here. Plenty of space to be made up between him and the lead, but could likely be another top 10 finish for the world #1. I'm taking Detry off the board for the sake of this next conversation, because we could all sit here and say the guy with the 5-shot lead is going to hoist the trophy. If I'm telling you you can't pick Thomas Detry, where is the value on the board in your eyes?
Yeah, great. Even better. I think it's Rasmus Højgaard here. So he went out there and shot a 65, which included a double bogey on the 15th hole. That is a par 5 and one of the scoring opportunities on the back. I love the way that he bounced back immediately after that ugly double. He pars 16, birdies both 17 and 18. He has been in form for 53 out of 54 holes this week, barring that one that I just mentioned. He's probably a year late to his PGA Tour card. He kind of was the 51st man, just missed out on it for 2024. He's got it for 2025. He entered this week with a lot of great play overseas. I think that he's going to continue to build off of this. He's going to try to apply any early pressure that he can to Thomas Detry, and I really like the way that he's trending with 18 to go.
Nobody keeps the pulse of this tour like our guy, Rick Gehman. Rick, we appreciate you stopping by as always. And Rick Gehman, our fearless leader on the First Cut podcast. Each and every week, our guys offer their reaction to everything in the world of golf. Download, subscribe, and enjoy the First Cut podcast.